So happening right now on the other side of the globe in Japan, we have the Christmas Toy Fair 2023 that is popping off. And this is an event that usually exists to entice Japanese toy retailers and stores of what is going to be coming out for the Christmas season, a big holiday blitz, a lot of consumerism and product that's going to be moved, and them just saying, here's what we have planned for that season, here's how the displays are going to work, are you interested in buying our product? And Takara-Tomy was present, and they were showing off the big push for the Transformers Earthspark line that is going to be debuting October 1st, both the television show and the toy line, that nice synergy that Japan is known with when it comes to both shows and merchandising. And they showed how the store displays are going to look, everything like that. But what they also showed us is even more Japanese exclusive repaints of the Earthspark stuff. We just covered just a couple days ago the first half of the wave one of product that they're going to get over there and how differently they're going to be painted from our Western from our Western counterparts. And now we got the other half of it, so we're going to jump into it, make sense of it all, what is different, and is it worth it for you to pick it up? So the display showed some of the stuff we already talked about, the spin changers, the shot changers, which are pretty much our one-steps, and of course the deluxes, but they also showed the second half of them, as well as some brand new high-quality images after this event concluded just a couple hours ago. So let's jump into it like we do here on the Transformer Slag podcast and make sense of what is different between the two and is it worth it for you. So the first thing they had on display was those deluxes. We talked about the ESD-01 Optimus, the ESD-02 Megatron, the ESD-03 Bumblebee, and the ESD-04 Twitch. These are going to retail for 3,850 yen, which is about $26 with exchange, considering that our actual deluxes are $25. Hey man, for a little extra paint and a buck more, you get like pretty much a super screen accurate version. Can't argue with that. But they also showed 4 more of the deluxes. They showed the ESD-05 Nightshade, the ESD-06 Shockwave, the ESD-07 Grimlock, and the ESD-08 Starscream. So what is different with these ones from their Western counterparts? So we'll start with Nightshade. And the biggest thing that you can notice is, of course, the more metallic gleam that is put on the paint with this one that really matches the character model quite well. The big noticeable difference, in my opinion, really all fall onto the robot mode, and it's that of the upper to inner thighs of the robot mode are completely painted, where our Western version, they just kind of painted the outside and the hollowed out painted it. They didn't paint the inside, which I hate when they do that, but it's the easy way out. They painted essentially the rib cage area, I guess we could call that, the rib area. They actually painted it properly. They also painted in the face properly. They kind of extended everything going on there with the face and really put in the silver paint that really matches how it looks on the animation model. And even the little ankle cuff areas of the feet of the robot mode, instead of the black paint, they use a gray one. Again, that's how it looks in the animation. Looking really good. Fantastic. So it's nice that they're looking at what it looks like in the show and trying to match it as best as they can, even if they have to put a little more budget into painting the figure. Really good stuff. When you get into the Shockwave, in all honesty, it's literally one for one, almost the same paint scheme. It's a different hue of plastic, but there's no paint added or taken away from it this time around, at least to my knowledge, looking at this quite deeply. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, because I feel that the hue on this USA version, the Western one that we got, is actually more screen accurate. And I'm just talking just the color. But at the end of the day, they're both not screen accurate, because it uses that Cyberverse mold, that deluxe class Cyberverse mold. So the shape and design of that unique style of the character model in Earthspark doesn't matter with this toy at the end of the day. So if you want a more, I guess, vibrant purple, you get the Japanese one. If you want a more screen accurate, darker purple, you get the Western one. But at the end of the day, both of them don't really look like the models in the show. Grimlock is a cool one. Not much has changed between the two from the Western release, but it is in the subtle differences. When we look at the robot mode, it's pretty much the same. Obviously, the hues might be different between the two, but otherwise it's kind of the same model. But they did add extra paint into a kind of a gold hue into his chest, so it looks really nice instead of it being all one color with the Western one. And in the alt mode, a little bit of screen accuracy going on there with the Dino mode. The little colored vents on the side of his, I guess his Dino side, which were all blue with the Western one, they actually are blue, red, and green like it is in the show. So if you want a super screen accurate Dino mode, Dinobot, Grimlock, you get the Japanese one. Pretty cool there. And then when we're talking Starscream, well, there's a lot. There's a lot of paint that's different from the Western version. We'll just start with the robot mode. The fins on the back of his head are painted in, which they were just molded in gray plastic. They stylized out the paint on his shoulders, so it's not just one blotch of blue. There's actually some styling there of how the paint is shaped. When we get into the null rays, they're completely black this time around. They painted in the arm joints that are now gray instead of black too. That might be in the gang molding itself. Even the lower legs, those are black also, probably due to the gang molding of it. Now, when we get into the alt mode, and of course the chest in the robot mode, they put a little detail of lining of black paint around the cockpit of the chest. A little bit of a lighter gray hue for the chest also. When you get into the alt mode, same things kind of transfer over, that cockpit lining around the gray. The little vents that are on the back now are painted in gray instead of solid red. And of course, Decepticon emblems added to the jet mode, which were absent on the Western version. So that's a nice touch, a little bit of character emblems and stuff like that. But all that doesn't really matter in the end. Japanese version might have way more paint, but it is at the end of the day that Cyberverse mold, which doesn't look anything like he does in the show. And even the way he was painted in here, it doesn't really make much of a difference. I mean, that's the unfortunate thing. No offense to the Cyberverse mold. That mold is fantastic. It's really cool. Actually, I suggest you get the Cyberverse version because it comes with all those blast effects. Great mold. But between the two, yeah, Japanese one has way more paint and looks nicer, but neither are screen accurate, unfortunately. And just to make a note, too, all of these do not come with the Mandroid pieces. They are not available. They are sold individually on a blister pack, not in an open window box like they are in the West. So it's going to have its own kind of look and stuff. So if you want a little extra paint and a little more screen accurate with some of them at least, definitely check these out. $1 more than what you're paying in Western retail. And then we're talking about the spot change. The ESS-01 Optimus we talked about, as long as the O2 Megatron, the O3 Bumblebee, the O4 Twitch, and the O5 Swindle. We talked about those. But there's two others that were added here. We have the O6 Wheeljack and O7 Soundwave. So the Wheeljack, you could see right off the cuff. The one that we got is missing a ton of paint. They painted it in like crazy here. The chest of the robot mode, the arms of the robot mode, and then that transfers over into the alt mode too, leads to a nice little screen accurate kind of alt mode that has tons of paint on it and stuff, so very nice. With the Soundwave itself, there's not much different between the two. The real big difference that I could tell anyhow is just that the window of that stealth bomber mode, they put way more paint on that red window, and that's really the big change between the two. So pretty cool otherwise. Again, these are all going to be shipping out soon, and again, even these spot changer ones here, they're 2,200 yen, which are about $15. So our one steps that we're paying for right now are $10, $9.99. So you're paying $5 more for a little more paint on these ones, if that matters to you. These are all shipping out to Japan October 1st, along with the show debuting October 1st. Pretty cool stuff otherwise. Let me know what you think. Again, it's cool to see this. It's cool to see this. It's cool to see that Takara is giving you options that you could... If you don't like what we got in the West, we're going to release the product. We're going to put a little more paint budget into it. And then you decide if you like what you see. We're going to that old era again of that. Pretty cool stuff otherwise. Let me know what you think here on the Transformer Slag podcast. And I'll talk to you again real soon. We got more stuff we got to talk about in our Transformer world.